I recently lost over 10 kilo in just 98 days, going from this to this without doing any cardio. And in this video, I'm going to cover the exact process I used so you can too. For those of you that don't know, I'm Zach. I'm disabled because at a young age, my blood supply in my hip stopped and my bone died, leaving me with a permanent deformity in my hip, which due to its severity needs replaced as of next week. I can't walk without pain and I can't do cardio. However, after helping hundreds of men all around the world get in the shape of their life, each in different jobs and at different starting points, I wanted to do one last diet before I got it replaced to prove to them, and any man for the matter, that you can achieve your dream physique no matter what. And this is the exact process that you can use in order. 1. Identify how much to lose. Fat loss is what we want, but having that as the sole goal is too broad. You need to be specific and identify exactly how much fat and therefore weight that you need to lose. Having a specific target eliminates the guesswork, gives you a clear direction so you're not just dieting aimlessly. More importantly, it allows you to calculate the length of time the diet is going to take rather than just feeling like you're in a never-ending cycle of restriction. I'm a firm believer in aggressive dieting, and I suggest that you try and lose between 0.5 to 1.5% of your body weight per week. So, for example, if you've got 30 pounds to lose and you lose 1 pound per week, that'll take you 30 weeks. If you lose 1.5 pounds per week, that'll take you 20 weeks. And if you lose 2 pounds per week, that'll take you 15 weeks. The process isn't always linear. In my case, I had to adjust things based on my hip, as some weeks I could push harder, some weeks I had to scale it back depending on the pain. Also, don't forget to factor in things such as holidays, events, and occasions so you can set realistic expectations from the start. Then, once you've locked in your goal and you know exactly how long it's going to take you to get towards said goal, it's time to work out your calories. A straightforward place to start is to multiply your body weight in pounds by 15. However, there are multiple factors that can affect this, such as your age, your height, your weight, experience, and even your job, to name a few. I will drop a video covering the perfect ratios. However, if you don't want to wait for that and you want help just like the fellas at the start of the video, then hit the top link in the description. Me and my team will have a little bit of a chat with you, see exactly where you're at, give you your perfect roadmap so you can take away, implement it yourself completely for free, or come on board and we can guarantee that result. But take off 500 to 700 calories from that maintenance number earlier and you should have your deficit. I'd be aiming for about 0.8 to 1.4 grams of protein per pound of body weight. I personally push on the higher side of things because that helps with satiation, and protein is the macro what helps build your muscle tissue as well. For fats, keep them around 40 to 60 grams for hormone function, then fill the rest of your calories up with carbohydrates. These are your body's preferred fuel source and you get more calories per gram in terms of volume than fats. Then once we have the calories and macros in place, it's important to think about pre and post workout nutrition, because while yes, the overall goal is to lose fat, we want to make sure that when we do lose that fat, we have a cracking physique to show for it. So it makes sense to prioritize having that food when we require the most amount of energy, which is pre and post workout. My rule of thumb is to have about 50% of your total carbohydrate intake split between your pre and post workout. And for pre-workout, the closer to that workout that you train, the more fast digesting carbohydrates that you need to consume. The further away that you eat before you train, the more slow releasing carbs that you need to consume. I personally recommend eating about 60 to 90 minutes prior, getting a combination of both, such as some oats with some fruit in and a little bit of dark chocolate. For post-workout, ideally, the sooner you eat after that session, the better, is because that's when your body's ability to absorb their nutrients is at its highest. So here, aim for a fast-acting carb source as well as a fast-acting protein source, such as something like cereal with a protein shake. And the key here is to minimize fats in this post-workout meal, is because that slows the absorption, which is what we're actually trying to achieve post-workout. Now it's time to establish your training. This can quite literally make or break a good result, and this is the exact framework that I use. So first, identify how often you can train. Then pick 2 body parts that you want to bring up the most and build your program around them. For example, your upper chest and your side delts. We obviously want everywhere to grow, but the key is to build a balanced physique, and there will always be lagging body parts that need to be brought up. Now, prioritize more machines, as the key to building muscle is creating as much force and tension within the muscle that you're trying to grow, and 90% of the time, using a machine will help you do this, as you'll be much more stable and there's there's nothing to think about aside from getting into the machine and moving the weight from A to B. Then simply train to complete failure, aiming for around about 5 to 15 reps for 2 to 3 sets on every single exercise. Then in terms of establishing your steps and your cardio allocation, this will be completely relative, as some people will work an active job, whereas on the other hand, you've got people that'll be stuck behind a desk. Everyone's situation will be different. However, I recommend you add about 2,000 to 3,000 steps on top of your daily average per day. To be honest though, ideally I would say let's aim for a minimum of 8,000 per day. And if you see you can't hit that, I'd have a vet of your time, because you've got a dream body to achieve, and you can even think about getting something such as a walking pad, and you can do it in the comfort of your own home. Then just gradually add more onto your day as weight begins to plateau, and then only then will you start to introduce cardio when you feel that you're at your daily limit with your steps. You can get pretty smart with this, and you can pull your steps down, increase your cardio, increase the intensity of your cardio. However, that's going to be incredibly individual dependent. Just make sure that when you are doing your cardio, you're keeping that heart rate at a minimum of 130 beats per minute. Then make sure you weigh in every single day and make adjustments if the weight loss begins to slow. And I can confidently guarantee that if you follow all of the steps within this video in the specific order that they're laid out, then you will lose fat, but more importantly, keep that fat off forever. However, I'm fully aware that this is a lot to take in, and it is difficult to stick to on your own. So if you want a result like the hundreds of other guys that you saw at the start of the video, then feel free to hit the top link in the description, and we can come up with a specifically designed roadmap for you. It is completely free. You can take it away, have a crack at it yourself, or come on board the team and we can hold you accountable to make sure that you guarantee that life-changing result that you want. But remember, it's free, it's no dramas or stress. If not, you can just simply take that roadmap away and have a go on your own. And if you haven't already, don't forget to like, subscribe for more straight to the point educational videos like this.